What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Manny here. Welcome back to the channel. I'm just trying to get the best out of the sound of this situation. We're here in my room and there's probably gonna be a little bit of echo because we don't have a lot of, curtains and other fluffy stuff which could dampen up the sound waves. But anyway, gonna make the best out of it, right? So we're here in my room. To the right of me there is a mattress which is lying on the ground. To the left of me we've got one table and one chair. And then there's even more to the left my brettel, my hangboard, where the Beast Maker is on there, and which you have seen in a couple of review videos that I've posted recently. And then behind me we've got a little bit of a cupboard where there is my clothing, and then we've got this guy here, which is a really comfy seat and just ideal, I figured, for making such a face-to-face video, which I'm planning to do for this video. So, where do I live now? I wanted to get back into making more personal content again because, I did a lot of voiceover work recently, just simply recording myself at the climbing gym, filming myself at the climbing gym and then talking over that stuff. But that's not as personally as I would like to have it, It's not as personal as I would like to have it. I really miss these videos where I just simply sit down, turn on the camera and talk to the camera, kind of face to camera style. Have a little bit of a real talk, have a little bit of a chat with my audience again. So I figured I make this for this video, and that's why we're here. So where do I live now? That's a question I got a lot recently, because obviously I moved from Vienna. I'm not in Vienna in my old flat anymore. I'm not in my old climbing gym anymore, or at least by far not as frequently as I used to be. And so people understandably ask the question, hey, have you moved? And I want to answer this question in this video. Yes, I did move. I do not live in Vienna anymore, at least most of the time. I moved down to a region called Styria, which is a very beautiful region in Austria. Beautiful landscape, very sunny as you can see. It's beautiful sun outside. By the way, I think I'm gonna open up the window to get some vitamin D gains in. Just wait a second. Remove our little plant body here. Let's move over to the sun a little bit more. That is beautiful, I tell you. I can really feel the difference when it comes to climate, compared to Vienna. I mean, in Vienna, the winters, they are just mostly gray and wet and pretty disgusting, to be honest. And that's why I usually, during the winter time, I traveled, I traveled like 2 months Spain, 2 months Leonidio, 2 months Spain again. Always during the winter, and this was actually one of the first winter again where I stayed, because there was not so much of a necessity to move. The winters are not that ugly down here. You've got either snow or there's beautiful sunshine like it is now. I hope you can see me, by the way. The sun is really strong. Wow. But anyway, yes, I moved. Why did I move? It's very simple. Like a lot of other bigger Western European cities, if you want to call them like that, I think that also Vienna is unfortunately a little bit of a sinking ship, very slowly sinking ship, and that's why for a longer time already, for years actually, even back in the time when I still studied, I figured, okay, when I'm done with this university stuff, then I'm done with this city actually, and I move to a more rural area, to a more countryside area. So I waited for an opportunity to do that, and as fate wanted it, one of my very good friends offered me a place to stay, a flat, the upper floor of his house actually, for a little bit of rent. And that's what I did, man. Then I moved, and that's why I'm here now. So where do I live now? I live in Styria, as I said, in the Fürstenfeld area, which is kind of the more eastern part of Styria. And yeah, again, really beautiful environment, really beautiful landscape, it's kind of hilly and a lot of forest around here. And even on this place where I live here, on this ground, on this territory, we've got some animals roaming around there. And we've got a lot of forest work going on, we've got some gardening going on and all that stuff. And it also shaped it also reshaped a lot of my opinions on a lot of topics, not only nutrition, but also, when it comes to what is ecologically sustainable and what is, sustainable in terms of ethics and, the treatment of animals and all that kind of stuff.
What up, dude?
So really interesting, but that's something for another video maybe. But yeah, that's where I live now, and that's where I plan to stay for a little longer, I think, because it's really, in terms of a healthy environment, it's not a lot of noise. It's dark in the night. It's actually dark in the night. This is something which I find very, very awesome, because in the city, it doesn't really matter where you live in the city. It's really hard to get a really dark night because there's always some traffic lights and some sirens then going off, when some of these police car drives by again and stuff like that. All this is not happening down here. So this is very, relaxing. I have the feeling it's a very healthy environment as well to live. And the food, you've got access to a lot of locally produced food, which I find awesome, especially with the diet that I eat right now, which is incorporating everything again, also animal products, as you know, because I've talked about this in previous videos. So yeah. So much about that. I made a little bit of a list of things that I wanted to talk about. So now we talked about where I live now and why I moved. I also branched out a bit in terms of activities, to be honest. I was back in the city, I was a really climbing focused guy. I was basically always doing stuff in the climbing gym or training at home for climbing or going outdoor climbing and studying. That was basically my city activities. And down here, I also, recently I really got back into guitar playing, for example, something that I didn't do for a long time. I didn't touch the guitar for months sometimes back in the city, or for years even, I don't know. Because I was so occupied with doing other things, and now that I'm more relaxed, I have the feeling, I just want to play the guitar a little bit more often. I'm currently practicing a really nice classical piece, Asturias, by Isaac Albeniz. Maybe I can throw a little bit of a video in here to show you my progress.
Let's play Asturias Leyenda by Isaac Albeniz, I think his name was. Great classical tune, man. A lot of finger picking, a lot of speed, a lot of precision. In that way, I think guitar playing has actually a lot of things in common with climbing. We're trying to learn and perfect certain sequences. And it's also both very fingery, and that's why when I incorporated clips of me guitar playing in former videos of mine, people would usually ask, hey Manny, how did the climbing actually affect your guitar playing? Did it have any negative effects? Because obviously, climbing makes your fingers fat and you're supposed to have them slow and inaccurate fingers and stuff like that, something that of course is very detrimental to good guitar play. But I can say from my experience that I didn't really notice any negative benefits, any negative effects, I want to say. So if you're into both, don't be afraid to practice both. At least that's my experience at the very, modest level that I am playing this stuff. But it's not that bad. I mean, it's not super good, but it's not that bad. So let's have a little bit of a practicing session on Asturias, sitting down here like a classic guitar player.
Why I opened up this little channel, Manny's Music Corner, where I plan to collect all of these little guitar pieces that I play, and maybe also other instruments in the future, who knows. But yeah, that's a little bit of a side project of mine. And on the side story channel, I posted a little bit of a video of us doing some forest work, Torsten, removing some of his trees on the property and stuff like that, which is also something that's really interesting, how to actually cultivate trees, cultivate trees in your forest. Sometimes you gotta take something out so that new trees can grow back, and sometimes there's a little bit of a bug in a tree or something and it's slowly dying and you don't want the bug to spread, then you gotta remove this one, and all these kind of things, forest work. Pretty interesting how that works as well. So yeah, I moved in terms of climbing. We haven't talked about that really, right? So as I said, we're here in the eastern region of Styria, where it's relatively flat. I mean, it's very hilly, as I said, but there's not really a lot of mountains, not a lot of rock sticking out of the ground, really. Just a lot of forest, really, and fields and meadows. And more to the west of Styria, we have Graz, which is the main city in Styria. A really sympathetic, I don't know if you can say that, but it's a very sympathetic city, not as big as Vienna, by far not as big, and with a little bit of a river going through, and then there is this mountain inside of the city, the Schlossberg, where you have beautiful buildings around and stuff like that. It's a nice city. If I would want to live in a city ever again, I would consider a city like that. Much more, it's much more my style than Vienna was, I think. But anyway, around this city we have the Grazer Bergland, and the Grazer Bergland is really blessed with a lot of really good crags, actually. A lot of limestone going on there, and really hard stuff as well. A lot of very overhanging caves and stuff like that, for example, the Zigeunerloch or the Hurtlucken or Pegau, which is, these crags of which I posted some uncut descents already. If you have followed my videos recently, then you will have noticed that as well. So there's a couple of good climbing spots going on here, actually. And also in Pegau, I just checked out one 8C Plus. I mean, just checked out, actually, for a long time already. I posted a video about that already as well. And I'm getting really close on that one, I have to say. But I have the feeling that I have to lose some weight still to do it, because I'm quite heavy at the moment. When it comes to branching out in terms of activities, I really love to do this calisthenic stuff as well at the moment. And I have the feeling that, it certainly gives you some sort of body strength, which you don't really get if you just climb. But it also packs on a lot of muscle, really, that you don't really need when it comes to climbing, because the only muscle that you really need for climbing is the forearms and maybe the brain. The brain is not a muscle, but I think you get what I'm saying here. So I don't know, I have the feeling I carry a little bit of unnecessary weight around. So we're gonna fast a little bit in the near future, I think. And then I'm gonna hope that it's not too hot already, actually, to try it. Because I tell you something, this spring is incredibly warm and hot and dry. So there's not a lot of rain, there's not a lot of snow. I mean, all of February there was no snow down here, essentially. It was very warm, always in the 2-digit range of degrees Celsius, which is very unusual. Normally February is a really cold month with some snow, and we've also got below 0 degrees in this time of the year. But not this time, and everything is kind of dry, so the landscape and the nature could really use some water now, actually. But we're gonna see how that develops. If it stays somewhat reasonably cool, I will keep trying this project and hopefully send it. Hopefully it becomes my first 8C Plus, because I never sent anything that hard before, and then we are only 1 grade away from the big goal. It's gonna be awesome. Climbing is not everything in my life anymore. There's a lot of other stuff. I also really enjoy shooting my bow down here, which is something that I can do basically every day down here, because there is these heuballen, these bunches of hay, that you see on the meadows when the farmers collect the hay from the meadow, and then they make these bunches. these are really nice to actually shoot at, because the arrows are very convenient to pull out again, you know. So sometimes I roam around and, you know, search some of these hay bunches and shoot at them with bow and arrow, and that's a lot of fun actually. I got this bow a while ago, years ago actually, when I still was living in the city, just because I wanted to have something that cool, you know. It was the first bigger thing that I bought for a lot of money actually, and when I had it instantly, I didn't even have the opportunity to really use it, you know. And now, since I made this move, I got a couple of arrows, and now I have the opportunity every day to shoot it, and that's a lot of fun. I really love it. I love getting more accurate, you know, more better, perfecting the technique and stuff like that. So yeah, maybe I do an instinct competition or something like that in the near future when it comes to the bow. That should be fun. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. We've talked about the climbing down here. We've talked why I moved. We've talked where I moved, roughly. You know, I mean, I don't want to make my address here public, as you might understand. But it's beautiful down here, man. Look at that. The sun is shining. It's such a clear sky. It's very quiet. Beautiful nature. Animals around, nice air, and really calm and dark nights. This is something that's really fascinating actually. So anyway, I hope you're having a great time as well. I will keep making some of these more personal videos again, I think, because I really enjoy making them, and I hope you do too. Let me know in the comments down below if you want to see anything specific. For videos that are coming up in the near future, wait, I made a little bit of a checklist so that you can have a little bit of a preview, a sneak peek, if you want so. One of these more personal videos that I would like to do is critiquing my own old vegan videos. That would be something that's very interesting, I think, for me as well as for a lot of other people in the audience, because yeah, I admit it, my opinions have changed a little bit when it comes to this subject, and also what I do has changed a bit. I also want to make a video about how much bonus weight is actually reasonable to use when it comes to training, you know, for climbing. Another video that I want to do is the functional muscle mass question, you know. This is a question that I actually get a lot, you know, since I personally myself gained a little bit of weight. How much muscle do we actually need to climb strong? You know, do we see a lot of muscle in the pros when it comes to climbing? And all of this, and you know, finding kind of a compromise between more muscle and more strength, but also more weight. You know, how much more muscle can you afford, essentially, to carry also the more weight that you have then? And these kind of questions. I would love to do a little bit of a knee pad review in the near future as well, because I got some knee pads and they are actually quite awesome. I also will make something about skincare, because everybody wants to... I mean, what the hell, you know? We've got, 86% male audience here, and everybody's caring about skincare. What the hell is wrong with you guys? But anyway... a lot of people seem to want to know about skincare, what I use for products, or I don't know. I mean, spoiler alert, I don't use anything. Honestly, I don't use anything. I just use a little bit of sandpaper and a nail clipper. But what I do with these things, I could go into a little bit more detail. I also want to do a elbow injury prevention and treatment videos, some analytic bouldering as well. And I really would love to finally get the planche done, at least the straddle planche, which is also something that is quite connected with body weight, you know. If I fast a little bit, I think I should be able to do it. And then I make a little bit of a tutorial or a progression video where I show how I train for that stuff and stuff like that. The same goes for the front lever, which is now kind of good already, maybe good enough already to make a little bit of a tutorial on how I got that one done, and a couple of other topics. Honestly, the list is full. So there should be a couple of things coming up. I hope you're having a great time as well. Let me know down in the comments below what you would like to see. I also would really like to do a live stream once again, maybe directly from the climbing gym, because from the climbing gym, you know, in the climbing gym I actually have a lot better internet than here where I live now. And the funny thing is I never had good internet in my entire YouTube career, you know, where basically working with the internet is my job, but I never had good internet. I always have a very shitty, internet connection actually. Back in Vienna and now here again, and the climbing gym is actually quite bad again, but it is a lot better than at all of these other places. So maybe we can do a little bit of a, bouldering training live stream or something and answering some questions along the way or stuff like that. It would be really cool. Let me know what you think about that down below. As always, my friends, leave a like, leave a comment. It's always appreciated and it helps a lot. And I think now I'm gonna go out a little bit, shoot the bow, maybe a little bit. Today's a rest day, so I figured I make this video and also get some other activities in, regenerate for the hard projects outdoors. But anyway, guys, I'll see you soon in the next one. Bye.